Hey everyone, welcome to Prosperous Life Finance, where I help educate you in becoming a better trader and investor. In this video, we'll be taking both a fundamental and a technical look at Astrazeneca stock. Before we start, I would like to thank all of you guys for all the support that I have been receiving, and we are now currently on the road to 400 subscribers. I would love each and every one of you guys to join the Prosperous Life family, and all you have to do is just like and subscribe this video to be part of the family. My goal is to create a large community where we are all like-minded investors and traders and help each other out along the way to grow and expand within our investing journey. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Starting off, what is Astrazeneca and what do they do? So Astrazeneca is a Swedish multinational pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical company that has its global headquarters in Cambridge, England. As many of you guys are aware, this is one of the companies that is in the race to find a vaccine for the current global pandemic. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at Astrazeneca. Here we are on the front page of the Astrazeneca website, and as you can see that beginning its journey in the year 1953, Astrazeneca became one of the first pharmaceutical companies operating in the United States. So on this page, we have more information which concerns the current race for the global vaccine. As you can see, Astrazeneca is actually responding to this global crisis outbreak consistent with their values to follow the science, put patients first, and do the right thing. As you can see, their priorities are to ensure the continued supply of their medicines to patients and to safeguard the health and well-being of all of their employees and communities. So down under that, we have the latest news. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of the most recent articles. Here we are looking at one of their most recent articles. As you can see, they are furthering the advancements towards the discovery of neutralizing antibodies to prevent and treat the progression of this current global pandemic. As we can see, AstraZeneca has signed new agreements with academia and U.S. government agencies and confirms plans to progress a combination approach consisting of a pair of monoclonal antibodies. So one great thing about many of these companies that are in the current race to find a vaccine is that they are working close with the United States government for many reasons, which include funding and other plans in order to progress and further their agenda to find this vaccine as soon as possible. Looking into more details, AstraZeneca has licensed disease neutralizing antibodies from Vanderbilt University and plans to advance a pair of these monoclonal antibodies into clinical development as a potential combination therapy for the prevention and treatment of the current global pandemic. And this agreement actually builds on the company's collaboration agreement with Vanderbilt, which was announced in April 2020. So you see here, based on these preclinical results, the company has signed an exclusive license to 6 candidates antibodies currently in the Vanderbilt portfolio that actually target this disease. And actually 2 of these 6 are going to progress into clinical evaluation as a combination approach within the next 2 months. Alongside that, AstraZeneca has also signed an agreement with the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is part of the U.S. Department of Defense and the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority. So as you can see here, this is going to support the company's efforts to actually develop a treatment against this virus, which include a phase 1 clinical trial and the manufacturing of the investigational product for testing in phase 1. So we can see how these agreements are actually going to help AstraZeneca in order to continue rapidly and progress in order to find this current vaccine. So we can see these collaborations are going to help ensure potential medicines that can prevent or treat the disease and are accelerated as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. Another article on their website says that AstraZeneca is going to supply Europe with up to 400 million doses of Oxford University's potential vaccine. So alongside reaching agreements in the United States, they have also reached an agreement with Europe's Inclusive Vaccines Alliance, which is spearheaded by Germany, France, Italy, and the Netherlands, to supply over 400 million doses of the University of Oxford's potential vaccine, which is currently in clinical development. So one thing that we should all notice is how AstraZeneca is already establishing a global presence with all of these agreements. I think this is a huge plus because not only will this help AstraZeneca to advance with their clinical trials, but this will also allow them to receive help from many countries across the world. So now we are going to be taking a closer look at the investor presentation, which is available on the AstraZeneca website. So you can see this is the most recent presentation, which is the Q1 2020 results. So let's start off by looking at some key highlights. In the quarter of 2020, they have robust progress across the company. So starting off, the total revenue is up by 17%. As we can see, it says low to mid single digit revenue benefit from this disease. As we can see, they have strong medicine performance across the board with their new medicines, oncology, new CVRM, respiratory and immunology, and emerging markets. Their multifaceted response to the global pandemic, leveraging existing and potential new medicines with testing capabilities augmented by humanitarian aid. Some more interesting things here is that their core operating profit is up by 16% despite their lower OOI. And in case you guys don't know what this means, it is an acronym for other operating income. They also have a core earnings per share of $1.05, which is actually up 21%. As we can see, their pipeline saw strong progress with the adjuvant Tagrisso highlight, and their guidance is unchanged. The total revenue is expected to increase by a high single digit to a low double digit percentage, and core earnings per share expected to increase by a mid to high teens percentage. So looking at these key highlights, it is a great thing how they are actually up by revenue and have increased at a very great amount all across the board. So you can see here they have major news items since the fiscal year and quarter 4 of the year 2019 results. Here they have the medicine for regulatory approvals, the other regulatory milestones, and the major phase 3 data readouts. So here we're looking at a chart which shows the quarter 1 2020 17% revenue growth and the new medicines that are actually driving the growth. We see how the strong revenue growth is continued throughout the years and how the new medicines are driving growth. They have an over 1 billion incremental revenue of the new medicines compared to the first quarter of the year 2019. So the great thing is how we see a solid growth in all therapy areas. We can see how their oncology is now 40% of sales, annualizing as a $10 billion business. This actually shows the strategic and multifaceted approach to finding a vaccine. So obviously they have the safety of their colleagues and the safety of their patients. As you can see, they have adjustments to clinical trials where needed. Here we're looking at their research and development, and it says that they are repositioning of medicines and technologies, and they have government support on testing. Their humanitarian aid includes the donation of 9 million face masks and other equipment and repositioning of Healthy Heart Africa. And here we also have the continuity of care, which is reliability of medicines and supply to patients and manufacturing operations. So on this slide we can see how they have a global expansion and how Europe and the emerging markets have made steady progress. Now here it actually shows the growth of 2 of their treatments, which include Tagrisso and Imfinzi, which have to do with lung and bladder diseases. As you can see, Tagrisso had a 58% growth and Imfinzi had a 57% growth. Now the great thing about this is that not only are they making progress with their current vaccine for the pandemic, but they're also making progress in their other medicines and treatments as well. Here we have the biopharmaceuticals, which say new launched medicines. The great thing is that they have a portfolio of new medicines across uses and markets. As we can see here, it shows the medicines and the global outreach which they are having. One thing that I also think is a benefit is that they are also in emerging markets. The thing about this is that with emerging markets, there's lots of potential for growth and opportunity for all sorts of businesses and companies, and the fact that they are seeing lots of growth within their emerging markets is a very great positive sign for the long-term outlook of Astrazeneca. Looking at some financials, we see the dividend growth, which shows that as cash flow improves, there is a deleveraging and progressive dividend policy. Alongside, we see the cash flow growth, which in the first quarter of 2020, they had a large improvement in cash flow from operating expenses, and in 2020, they anticipate improvement in cash flow from operating activities. They had an increase of 17% revenue growth in the total revenue of the first quarter of the year 2020. Down here, we have their operating leverage, which shows that 57% ratio of core operating expenses to total revenue. They have a 16% growth in core operating profit, and they have a 29% core operating profit margin despite the 19% lower other operating income. So one thing to note is that they are progressing overall and continue to grow as a business on the race to find the vaccine. One very important thing which I always tell all of my viewers is to look at the leadership team to know who is driving this company. So as we can see on the website, you do have a description of all the leaders and you can read all their biographies. We're just going to go ahead and take a look at the executive director and the chief executive officer. He is a member of the board and CEO since October of the year 2012. So we see here that he has served as a chief operating officer of Roche's Pharmaceuticals division from 2010 through September 2012. Prior to that, he was a chief executive officer of GeneTech, which is a biologics business. So Pascal actually joined the pharmaceutical industry in the year 1986 and has worked in senior management roles in numerous major companies around the world. And under that, you also have his educational experience. So I do think that they have a very great executive director and CEO since he has been in the pharmaceutical industry since the year 1986. So a quick recap of the fundamentals, we see how they are establishing a global presence. They have balanced specialty and primary care franchises, and they are leading emerging markets presence with their research and development base. They also have a strong pipeline with 17 phase 3 medicines and significant lifestyle projects, and they are advancing early and mid-stage pipeline. And of course, they have improving financials. They have 9 blockbuster medicines, they are returned to sustainable revenue and earnings growth, and they focus on operating leverage and cash flow. These are 3 very key important metrics which are very positive for this business. So on the screen, you are looking at the TD Ameritrade Think or Swim trading platform, which is my platform of choice for trading and investing. Here we are looking at Astrazeneca stock, which is the ticker symbol AZN. And I'm going to give you guys a quick background of these technical indicators. This blue line that you see right here is the 9-day exponential moving average. Down here we have the volume. Right under that we have a technical indicator called the MACD, which actually helps us with both entry and exit strategies. And right under that we have the RSI, which helps you evaluate if a stock is overvalued or undervalued. So starting off within the past 20 days, there was a low of $51.09 and it reached a high of $64.94. So as you can see, when it was at a low of $51.09, it was in a slight consolidation for multiple days until the price finally broke this 9-day EMA line, which is a blue line right here, and actually continued in an uptrend. As you can see, when it reached a high of $64.94, it actually broke down under this 9-day EMA and started using it as a resistance line into a slight downtrend. All of these technical indicators should just be used with your original game plan and strategy, and you should not trade or invest based solely on just these indicators alone. Once again, I urge all of my investors to have an approach on how you're going to invest in a business or a stock. Obviously, if you're a long-term investor, these day-to-day fluctuations should not matter to you, as you have an overall positive and future outlook of this company, which means that in the long run you will profit. Now, if you are a day trader or swing trader, obviously these day-to-day fluctuations are good for for you and technical analysis will be of big help to you. So as of now, the RSI was actually signaling an undervalued price point not too long ago, and the MACD has indicated a buying signal. Now this does not mean that this stock is still going to continue to go up, as it still could go down, but these are signals which can help you monitor the price point. And one thing I will look for is to see the price point actually break above this blue 9-day EMA and continue to uptrend, which would then be an entry point for myself. Now my overall opinion of this stock is that it would be a long-term hold. This is due to the fact that lots of the vaccine stocks are very volatile, but I believe will come out on top in the long run. So now I want to know what you guys think about this stock. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about this company and this stock. So if you guys found some value in this video and actually gained some new information, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe for more content just like this. Once again, I would love each and every one of you to join the Prosperous Life family, where we are a community of traders and investors that help each other out in order to continue to grow and expand within our investment journey. And all you got to do is like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching. God bless you all, and I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next video.